Pacific area as the #1 fastest growing area in the world in aviation. In this Pacific area, the demand for pilots alone is approximately 266,000 pilots will be required in the Asia Pacific area over the next 20 years. That number mirrors the requirement for aviation maintenance engineers. Add to that, in that same period of time over the next 20 years, flight attendants will account for over 327,000 new employment positions within the aviation sector globally. It's an exciting period of time for the aviation sector. We at Fanshawe are very proud of our aviation school. It is located directly, as was shown on a previous slide, on the runway at the London International Airport. Our hangar is an 80,000 square foot facility that is filled with literally dozens of airplanes. Our aircraft range from light twin-seat general aviation aircraft all the way through executive aircraft, the Falcon fan jets, Hawker Siddeley's, all the way into large Boeing carriers, 727s. Our students daily have hands-on access to all of those different aircraft, from turboprop aircraft all the way through to the most modern technology in jet aircraft engines. But we don't just teach about aircraft engineering and manned flight. We also have programs in remotely piloted aircraft, unmanned aircraft. We also have programs where we provide opportunities for our graduates to move on to the manufacturing sector in the aviation community, not only in the maintenance, repair, and overhaul. Our bread and butter, there's the 4 core programs that we have, which are Transport Canada rated, and we are industry leaders in the Transport Canada aircraft maintenance engineering programs. Our first program is a 2-year engineering program. That 2-year maintenance program is generally focused on what we call an M1 license, which is in general aviation. Our graduates receive 1,800 hours credit towards the 4,800 hours that is needed to get a Transport Canada rating. In order to get that, your students have to be very committed. They're required to be in attendance 90% of all classes. They are required to have a minimum mark of 70% on practical and 70% on theory. We have an exam every Wednesday. Students do very well. People who come into the aviation community are serious and are committed to their trade, and so we have a bunch of very happy students who are out on the floor who are actually working in an industrial environment. Our next program is an avionics position. Again, it's a 2-year program in which the graduates will receive 1,800 hours of the required 4,800 hours. All of our professors, whether it's in the avionics 2-year program, whether it's in the maintenance 2-year program, carry the highest rating and certification that Transport Canada carries or awards. Each and every one of these instructors has spent decades working in and around the aviation industry. They worked everywhere from the largest companies of Air Canada and Delta to some of the smallest companies that work in the Antarctic and in the Arctic in oil and gas energy sector and maintaining aircraft in some of the most extreme situations and conditions anywhere in the world. They have extraordinary wealth of experience, and our students benefit from that. But what they also have is an extraordinary network of connections, so that they can provide linkages and networks for job opportunities upon graduation. Before I talk about the other maintenance programs that we have and the AMEs, we have a very special program called Applied Aerospace Manufacturing. AMF is a 100% international student program. It is focused on engineering students. They're graduates from various other schools. They come in and they spend 1 year on the floor in an industrial setting, learning everything from Lean Six Sigma, constant process of improvement, WMIS, all of the requirements so they can work on day one, enter directly into an employment situation in any aircraft manufacturer anywhere in North America. It's a very exciting course, and it's taught by 2 PhDs who directly come into us from Bombardier, one of Canada's premier manufacturing facilities. I mentioned remotely piloted aerial systems. This is one of the fastest growing areas of the aviation sector. It's a 1 year program where we teach the students to come in and they learn everything about manufacturing, diagnostics, analysis of the remotely piloted systems, all the way through, and they take them up to the point where they can apply to write a Transport Canada commercial rating. The really great part about this program is it is designed to be part of a package, so that you would prior to taking this program, you would take a 2 year program either in the agricultural sector, in the energy and resource sector, in law enforcement, in emergency services, in maritime studies, in survey, in construction. And those people who have specialties in those areas of survey and GIS and energy would then come out and they would learn how to fly the platform and be able to go out and work in those other industries. In between our programs, we have 100% of our courses are tied to co-op. Some of the largest aviation companies in North America are partnered with the Norton Wolf School of Aviation Technology, Air Canada Jazz, AAR, which is the largest maintenance, repair, and overhaul company in North America, resident in Windsor, Ontario. All of these programs are excited to provide cooperative student opportunities and placements in the summertime. So we're pretty excited about those programs where they reinforce the studies that the students have had in our industrial setting. Our newest programs, starting the fall of 20, we'll have our commercial aviation and flight leadership. This is an advanced diploma in which our graduates will not only graduate with a world-class education in leadership and in management in the aviation sector, but they'll also leave us with a commercial multi-engine IFR, VFR on top, and a frozen ATPL. All that means they're ready to walk directly into the commercial aircraft industry as pilots. Our newest Transport Canada rated program is a 1 year aircraft structures repair technician. It's a certificate course. You receive 900 hours towards the 4,800 hours that you require. And traditionally, this program, these graduates have not necessarily gone directly into maintenance, repair, and overhaul. They've gone directly into the manufacturing sector. And that's been a terrific thing for them because over the last 3 years, 100% of the students in these programs have had jobs prior to the end of the first semester. So we have 100% employment while they're still there. So the manufacturing sector and industry has come to us, and they've asked us to add to that a second program because the industry as they manufacture aircraft has changed. We're no longer working with some of the traditional metallic forms of aircraft in the fuselages. We're working with composite materials, nanotube technologies. And so the graduates of our 1 year certificate program are eligible to continue on within the Norton Wolf and do a second year in a grad certificate in composite materials. The professors who are teaching this program are actually resident within some of our local industries, both General Dynamics and Diamond Aircraft of Canada, and they bring the most current technologies and current processes in the handling and manufacturing with composite materials. Last but not least, 327,000 positions are going to open in the Pacific Rim in flight services. Our program will be starting in 21. It's an exciting opportunity for people to come in What's different about our program is that it will start in September and will end in April globally. The summer months are the biggest periods of hiring for flight attendants. So our course is designed specifically to have our graduates ready on day one of that hiring period, so they can leave from us and go directly into that world. Not only will they be lining up so they can go into the larger, more commercial carriers, but they're also going to be specifically trained so they can go into the executive side of the house, in the executive aviation, which is an interesting, and it is clearly, it's not well known, but it is the single fastest growing sector in the aviation community. So the North Wolf School of Aviation Technology, it is the #1 school, and all we're doing is getting better. Every year you're going to see over the next 5 years new programs, and they're all in direct response to industry needs. And for us, it's extraordinarily exciting. Do we have time for questions now, or are we moving to questions later? So with that, are there any questions on the floor?
Yeah. Questions? What is the career path for the commercial flight aviation leadership? What kind of job do students got when they got out of school, when they graduate?
So that's a great question. So what kind of jobs will they get when they graduate from our commercial aviation flight leadership? So that's the benefit of having both parts of this. So the academic piece will prepare them to go directly into the corporate sector in the aviation world. They'll be able to work in airport management. They'll be able to work directly for major carriers in the corporate sector. There's a broad range. They'll be able to work in the maintenance, repair, and overhaul as managers and operators on various industries in the flight environment. But more exciting is that every one of them will be pilots, and they'll be able to go directly into the commercial aviation sector. And whether that is at the executive jet level, or whether it's in local and regional flights, or whether it's at the largest carriers flying 787s, that is the career path that they'll all be prepared to go for. Diamond Aircraft of Canada is our partner. They are the #1 provider of flight training in Ontario today. Quite quickly, Diamond Aircraft Manufacturers is becoming the #1 manufacturer of sport and general aviation aircraft. Today, they are #2 behind Piper. They are already outselling Cessna. And by the summer of 21, they will be the #1 provider. Our aircraft, unlike many of the other flying schools, are actually, the cockpits of them are identical to the most modern commercial carriers. So when the students on day one start flying, they're flying in entirely glass cockpits, so that the aircraft that they're training on are the aircraft that they'll be employed on in the same technology. Does that answer your question?
So they all become pilots. So
Yes, sir.
Okay. And they work closely with so I would so they all become pilots right after the programs.
That's right.
So they don't have to be the pilot before going in.
Not at all. No, you don't require flight time coming into it. We'll start with, the process is private pilot's license, commercial pilots or multi-engine, commercial pilot's license, and then a frozen ATPL, which enables them to move off into the commercial sector.
Is there any specific physical and health requirements for students to enter the programs?
Yes, there is. So there's a medical, there's a flight medical that's required. At one time, visual acuity was a major issue, not anymore. It's correctable to 2020, so wearing glasses is not going to stop a student. A heart murmur would be a challenge if you have a cardiac condition coming in.
Okay.
So you have to be able to pass an aircrew medical. So that's an issue. That's about the extent of it.
Okay.
How about the height?
Say height and weight.
Height and weight. And
Nope.
No issues.
So I can do that.
Graduation requirement
I think if you could see over the dash is about it. That's a joke.
Thank you.
Okay.
Lùn mét rưỡi thì cũng đi học.
Không được bệnh tiền.
I think I got all my. Thank you very much.